thanks so much for downloading the episode today. On the show, you're going to hear me talk about eating bugs. Is it the new culinary adventure? Paula says no. We also talk a little celebs and television shows. We totally hate Katy Perry, and I'm struggling with Alicia Keys. We talk about this and our ugly and awkward moments of the week. Thanks so much. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie.
Oh, now Daryl's gonna have to kiss bug mouth.
Paula.
I'm gonna take a piece of your cheek, bitch.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. It is episode 259. Ugh. Hello there, Ugh. How you doing?
I'm great.
You're great? You're like, I'm all right. I have sick kids today.
Well, yeah, I do.
It sucks. Well, hopefully they're not, like you said, you're going to take them to the doctor. Hopefully it's just a common cold and nothing more serious because, obviously that's going around. It freaking sucks right now. It's a crazy how many people I know that are not catching, or they're getting the flu. Like, it's insane. It's really, when you hear news reports and they say, this is a very dangerous flu, it's very contagious. And every year I go, yeah, but I mean, the people who are most susceptible get it. They get it. And that's just the end of it. But now it's like everyone is getting the flu at some point. Mm-hmm. I am not going to say that we're lucky that we haven't gotten it yet, because the second I do that, the second I, legitimately brag, is when we're all going to get hit with it. So
Right.
I'm not saying anything about that, but hopefully your children are fine, which I'm sure they are.
Well, it's so funny is you're always so surprised when I tell you my kids are sick. And I'm
know.
Just like, do you remember having little ones, Jamie?
No. Well, you know what? What's funny is in childhood, they're always sick. Like, they're never not sick. They're only well when they're out of school in the summer.
Right.
They go to school and then they're immediately, that's why, when you go to school, especially if you have like a kindergartner and you've never been to school before, or preschool or something, and you walk in the door and all the children have green snot coming out of their nostrils.
Right.
That's because they're perpetually ill. They're never not well. And you're right.
True.
They're always sick. In fact, it sucks too because, like, Olivia seems to get the intestinal stuff like you used to. So, and that's even worse because she looks perfectly healthy, except that she's constantly in the bathroom or, whatever. And that really freaking sucks.
Inside, she's slowly dying.
Yeah, it sucks. Oh, so speaking of germs, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm going to tell you about it really quick. There is a movie called Contagion, and it came out, I think, like 15 or 16 years ago. It was a really long time ago, and there's a lot of big stars in it. It's basically, it's a high-rated movie. I don't know. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, it's basically a cross-contamination in China at a restaurant causes this new form of meningitis to happen.
Wow.
And an American businesswoman shakes the hand of the chef who happens to get the contagion on his hands. Mm-hmm. And she basically spreads it throughout the United States, and it causes major chaos. And it takes the Center of Disease Control almost 6 months to find a vaccine to prevent it from spreading. Mm-hmm. And so basically, it's like the zombie apocalypse. People are literally dying in the streets. They're dying within days. It's crazy. And it causes mass chaos, like complete chaos. It is a really scary movie. And what's funny, it's the scary part is at the end when you realize, like, 2 million people died all over the earth. Mm-hmm. And the fact that mass chaos occurs, people are invading homes, killing people for food because there's no food, because people are afraid to leave their homes. And if you do leave and you get exposed to someone who has it, then you're going to be dead in 3 days. It's a really scary thing. So it's a lot like the zombie apocalypse where you're afraid to go outside. And then what's worse, and this was the scariest part for me, is people start invading homes and killing people to take stuff, to get supplies.
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I go, that part you don't even think about. You think, oh, I'll just stay inside and we'll just eat leaves or something.
Right.
But when people start coming into your house because they're desperate, and they start killing people, that's when it gets scary. So anyway, Daryl and we watched it. I loved it. I thought it was a really good movie. He we smoked some chickens over the weekend for food, to eat whatever. And he said, that movie really kind of freaked me out. And I'm like, why? He goes, I washed my hands like 8 times after handling that chicken. He's like, I was terrified. And I said, right? I said, hey, it was an extreme, but it's not like it couldn't happen. You have to be careful. You have to the fact that chef did not wash his hands, when I saw him wipe his hand on the apron and then shake her hand with pig mouth on him, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly why we have the health inspections that we do in the United States. So it's but it just reminds me, germs, it's so easy to transfer flu or whatever because people are gross. We're all gross. You sneeze in your hand and then you walk down a flight of stairs at a building and you hold the railing and now your snot germs and mouth germs are all over the railing, which is why, and not that it necessarily helps, but I cover my hands with my long sleeves.
Oh, I don't touch anything.
I touch nothing. And I'm cool with, exposing people or children even to, germs. I don't try to keep them in a bubble or anything, but people are so gross that and we're just naturally gross. It's not like we even try to be not gross,
I'm constantly telling them, I'm like, remember, wash your hands, just because
you have to. And I'm not a big fan of the Purell thing, but I'm a fan of soap and water.
Yeah. No, I see the Purell thing and I'm just like, so what? It's going to kill and I'm going to wipe dead germs all over my hands. I'm just
and let's not forget, people have touched that pump in the public area. Like the Purell pump is probably covered in fecal matter.
God.
Just everything is dirty.
Medical stuff uses that stuff.
Oh, I know. I mean, they have to. They have to. But still, it's crazy that even with all of the so-called, barriers that we put up that, we're all still getting the flu because when you walk into a Rite Aid,
right,
somebody's fingered every box of Sudafed.
I know.
And now you're going to get whatever grossness they had on their mittens.
I know. It's so gross.
Anyway, okay, so get well soon to the Paula children.
Yes.
And you too, because I know you're obviously exposed to their germs as well.
Yeah, I'm cleaning up cups and dishing out medicine,
yes.
And
it's like you're fucking Mary Poppins.
It's like being a nurse.
Yeah, really. You know what? Most moms probably would make excellent nurses if they weren't already.
Just not in the pediatric ward.
Oh God, no! You're like, no, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I can't take care of other people's children.
So daycare, education, and nursing in a pediatric ward are out for me.
Pretty much.
But any other thing I'm fine with. Give me some women who are exhausted and just need a respite. I'll take care of those women.
Right.
I would completely sympathize. I'd be like, honey, do you need something else? Can I get you some lotion, some more coffee? What do you need?
Champagne, what?
Champagne, some fruit, what? You want me to bring your stylist in to get your hair done? I mean, what do you need?
Right.
That's what we're here for. Oh my God, that's a new idea. So along with the women's Letterman jacket, the mom Letterman jackets.
Yeah.
We should have a pseudo hospital. It's not a spa, but it's a hospital where you can check yourself in anywhere from 3 to 7 days, and you can be treated like a patient, but instead of, well, you can have pills and medicine. That'd be all right.
Yeah, sure.
But you can be treated, like a patient because it's probably no more expensive than if you were sick and had to go to the hospital.
I think they call that the mental hospital, Jamie.
Okay, then sign me up. Sign me up.
Put yourself on a 5150 hold.
But will you get alcohol and brunch?
No.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
You do get food, but...
I want a place where I can go and swim in a 2-piece and no one will see me and I can enjoy myself and do handstands and swim.
Then you need to go to like a private drug rehab place. Like,
yeah. I want no judgment.
Or whatever that place is called.
Yeah, I want no supermodel nurses or even hot guy nurses. I want regular women taking care of my needs, sympathizing and talking to me like they're my girlfriend, almost like a prostitute, but she's handing me champagne and food and free access to things where I can be, not in shape and swim and, play and sleep in. And oh my God, Paula, we would make a fortune. We would make a fortune.
That would cost a fortune.
It would be worth it. You could save up your money and go once a year. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And the thing is I wouldn't want to go with any girlfriends. I'd want to go alone. I'd want to just be by myself. Watch any shows you want whenever you want and not have to fight over the clicker. You can watch Terms of Endearment and Steel Magnolias whenever you feel like it. It would be so fun. Oh my God, I'm all in. All in. If this such place exists outside of heaven, I want someone to tell me about it, because
Really?
I'm all in. Because when you go to the hospital for whatever horrible reason outside of having a child, which we will talk about later, that is worth the money. It's worth the $10 for an Advil if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about Ikea really, really quick before we go into our celeb chat.
Okay.
Now, Ikea is based in Europe. They're Swedish, but they're kind of on the forefront of the future when it comes to pretty much anything. Believe it or not, they really are. They're about affordability, beautiful things that are sustainable. Everything is very green, eco-friendly that comes out. So that's kind of their mantra. So now they're doing this thing. They have a lab. They call it, I think it's called Space 10 or something like that, or Space Lab or something like that, where they're constantly coming up with food concepts for their IKEA stores, because they did some research and found that 30% of the people that come to an IKEA come to eat.
Oh.
And that's a lot to me. That's a lot of clientele that are simply coming in to have Swedish meatballs or whatever.
That's probably their top seller.
I would imagine. And having it prepared for you and you can sit down and eat it. And it's really cheap to eat there too. I mean, you can feed your kid. It's like $1. It's nothing. So now they take advantage of that. So I'm sure that you have seen, because we watch enough random TV, that the scientists and the environmentalists of the world, the professors of the world are saying that some of these countries are getting it right. Insects are really the new source for protein.
Oh, God.
Right? You've seen it. I mean, I can't imagine, but you've seen that where they're like, no, I mean, I remember one time seeing Angelina Jolie trying to make her kid eat a fried tarantula. And I'm like, absolutely not. I would rather starve. Like, that's not happening. But they eat them all the time in these countries where that's the main source for protein, because humans need protein. So IKEA has now decided they're going to launch a few bug-made foods.
Okay.
There's 3 that they've worked on. The first one that I want to tell you about is the bug burger. Its meat, quote unquote, meat base is larval form of the darkling beetle, which is mealworms. So it's mealworms, beet, parsnip, potatoes, and then it's served on a bread bun with a beet and blackcurrant ketchup. And apparently it's delicious, and it's not like you're going to see the little yellow worms. It's created into some kind of protein mush, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. So it's like a burger, and they're saying it's quite delicious, and it really is a great alternative. First of all, you can breed and you can make bugs very quickly. You know how quick flies, and so I can only imagine that this beetle must be something that reproduces. It's starting to gross me out a little bit, but I'm sure there are mealworm farms already in existence. They're probably jumping for joy right now. There's also the dogless hot dog. This one is actually made with root vegetables.
Oh, okay.
But the new thing for this is they're using a microalgae, which is a alternative to bread. So it's a beta carotene. It's a green, quote unquote, bun made out of microalgae. Now, I actually am not a fan of that. I don't like seaweed, so I can't imagine that I would like the flavor of it. And the bun is bright green.
Oh.
I don't know. But it's probably super affordable. It's super cheap to harvest the algae. And so it's an option for people who perhaps live in areas where it's not easy to get hot dogs and buns, And it's very, very healthy, like crazy clean healthy.
Wow.
So I would try a bug burger. I would.
I couldn't.
You wouldn't?
No.
I would do it. I would try it. I would at least try it. I would take a bite, but I wouldn't go. I wouldn't have it like replace my. I can't imagine that I would be sitting there going, you know what I could really use tonight? A bug burger. Like, they're so delicious. There's not even cheese on them or anything, so I don't know. And I'm not sure about the beet blackcurrant ketchup. That doesn't sound legit. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there's some people who would probably jump all over that stuff, but I mean, because, you know, they're into
unusual.
Well, and that, and you know, saving the environment and
right,
and the animals and all
that stuff. Would those be considered vegan?
What?
What is a bug burger considered vegan? Probably not, right?
No, because it still is
some kind of living thing.
I don't know if it would be considered vegetarian either. I don't really know. I don't know at what level
it's a new
is
food level.
I don't know what level the weevil is on the food chain. But
would you equate it to a lentil?
I mean, I don't even know if it has a brain or a heart or any of those things. If it's just wiggles. I don't know. Do
vegan kill flies? Do vegans kill like bugs? If they do, then they should be able to eat a bug burger anyway. I don't know. I'm just interested. I want to see what one looks like first. If there's like little like worm butts, if I can see like the worm actual, I probably wouldn't do it. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to eat anything where I can tell what it is. I want it to be completely, converted, or I don't even want to know that it's a bug until you say, oh, you just ate a cricket burger or whatever. I don't want legs or antennae looking at me.
That's all I keep thinking is
me
there's
too.
Just like little things sticking out of the burger.
Crunchy. I don't want any of that. I don't want, can you water it down and turn it into something? I mean, because then I might consider it.
It has to be completely eviscerated before.
Yeah, I don't even want to know that I'm eating a bug burger. Like, really don't. So if that's the case, then I would try a bite of it. I wouldn't take a big ass bite.
No,
I wouldn't go,
because what if there was an odor or something? I just couldn't.
I didn't even think about that. There's not enough garlic salt or Lori seasoning salt. If I put A1 on it, can I taste it? Yeah, I didn't even think about the odor part. God, what does bug taste like? Smell like? I don't even want to know.
I don't either. So
okay, well, I will keep you. Informed because I know you will be dying to know.
Yes.
If our local Ikea gets the bug burger, and if it does, I will absolutely go and get one. I don't know if I'll be able to eat it all, but I will do the experiment. You don't have to come.
God,
you don't have to come with me.
Just take
am not a
picture
fan
of it on Instagram.
I will, and you'll be like, no, Jamie, don't you put that in your mouth. It's like, oh, now Daryl's gonna have to kiss bug mouth. I didn't even think about that part.
Gross.
Okay, well, let's talk about some celebrities and some television, because we have not talked about that in quite a while.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. So really quick, you said that you are watching The Voice.
We are. I don't think we watched this. Well, did we watch this? No, we didn't.
There was one episode this week of The Voice. It was more blind auditions. Isn't it funny? I don't know about you, or who you watch with, but Daryl and I watch it pretty regularly. We really like it. You can always tell when they're not going to make it. Before anybody even utters a tone, you can almost always tell they're not going to be chosen. One of the reasons is they give them a pretty extensive background. Like they give them a lot of background on why they're doing this, why, what they do for a living, and you get this long history, and then they come out and then nobody turns around. It's almost like they have talent, they're just not ready for the show, so we're going to give them a little bit of a plug, and then when they go back, maybe someone will recognize them for whatever, and then they'll get to, start their career that way, which I think is generous.
There's other ones though where, and this is the ones that always get me, is because Adam Levine, if he turns in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, he waits for like a one note and then he goes, oh yeah, done.
Like he knows. And I'm just like, why? Mm-hmm. Just I guess if you know, but
right.
It's just weird.
If I was on that show, Paula, I would pick Blake. I don't care if I sing country or not. The man wins everything. He always wins. Like he has a way of, he's figured out the game.
It's because it's the little finger he points above his head.
Maybe, but even when, like, he won last year with that girl that sang, like, ho, ho, ho. I mean, she was, like, really deep voice. She was kind of like a weird alt rock girl.
Right.
She won, and he was on, well, Miley had her first, and then he picked her up and never let her go. Mm-hmm. But he just always wins. It's like, if there's a young teenage country girl, she'd be foolish not to pick anybody but Blake Shelton. The man knows how to market those people. He's crazy good. Daryl and I, we hate Alicia Keys so much. It's almost palpable.
So the controversy this week is she was throwing shade at everybody.
Yes!
By her one comment.
She's a bitch!
She's like, I'm the only one that can sing in your same vicinity.
Are you fucking kidding me right now, Alicia Keys? Really? With your no makeup mantra? Give me a break. And she's wearing makeup.
Oh, she is now.
Oh, yeah. She's got makeup on. And Daryl, he's just like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that bitch is wearing makeup now. I said, oh, yes, she is. She is. She got no zit showing this year because she learned her lesson. She looks like shit without makeup on camera.
She's wearing a little makeup. And
she is. Not a lot of eye makeup, but she's definitely got a little gloss going on.
Yes, she does. So I don't know how Kelly Clarkson will do. We'll see.
I love her on the show.
She's funny.
She's better than Gwen Stefani, who I could not deal with. Although Miley Cyrus is pretty good. I really liked Miley Cyrus on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought she was awesome. And started crying because a girl who really... She's not gonna. I don't think she'll go very far, but she is talented. She sang a Kelly Clarkson song. She sang the one about her dad.
Oh.
And Kelly Clarkson immediately started to cry, and she couldn't turn around because she only has like 2 spots left, and she needs something really different. And this woman who looks like Faith Hill basically, but doesn't sing like Faith Hill. She got people to turn around, but it was Adam Levine actually who turned around for her. And Kelly Clarkson turns around. She cried until literally the next person came out. Aww. She's like, I can't stop crying. She's like, I love that song. And the fact that you sang it and that it means something to you, she just could not. And she's like, I feel everything. And Miley Cyrus was the same way. So I really love that about her. I really do. But yeah, we're struggling with Alicia. I also feel sorry for Adam Levine because he always gets the raw end of the deal. It's like no one likes him. I don't know why. No one ever chooses him.
I think he's probably, I mean, I would be a little afraid, but I mean, I would choose him between him and Blake. It would be, a tough choice.
I would pick Kelly Clarkson. I would want to learn from her because she knows she's classically trained, so she knows how to work a voice.
Yeah.
Whereas like Alicia Keys is not, or she says she is. She probably is.
Trained. Yeah.
I don't know. I know I'm being hard on her, and I have all of Alicia Keys' albums actually. I really like her, but I struggle with the way she projects on the show. I really do.
How she is as a judge.
Yeah, I just really struggle with it. But and also she said something about some kind of range, and Kelly Clarkson gave her a look like, what the fuck are you talking about? I sing way better than you.
She's like, I got all sorts of ranges.
She's like, shall we contest? I would love to have a contest with you. But anyway, we absolutely love The Voice, and I actually enjoy hating Alicia. It makes me more interested when someone picks her. I'm like, oh, of course you did, or I'm like, you're a fool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys get into it? I don't know.
Oh, we do too. Yeah. Because as soon as it comes down, and like I said, when Blake does that little finger above his head, yes. Ryan's like, oh no, he's breaking out the finger.
He really wants him. And this new thing with the block where they can block people.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. I love it though. I'm like, oh man, because after a while, I mean, how many voices can you listen to before you start to realize who's going to pick what?
Right.
So you can block people and know that they're going to want them. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's really cool. It's a great little addition. So speaking of, so apparently American Idol is back, which I did not know because I lost interest, 2 or 3 years. When all the original judges started to leave, I stopped watching.
Yeah.
But apparently it's back. I think it's Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and
Luke Bryan.
Okay, so the country guy again.
Yeah.
So I hate Katy Perry.
Okay.
I don't like her at all. I think she kind of suffered the same thing that Alicia Keys did, where she came out packaged as something. You know, she did the California Girls, and she did I Kissed a Girl and all that stuff, and it was good, and it was poppy and peppy. And then she decided that she hated it, and she needed to break free. And so she cut all her hair off and dyed it yellow and, you know, did all kinds of weird shit. And she's nuts. And I don't know if it's a real nuts or if it's a manufactured nuts, but I feel like she's trying to do what Miley Cyrus did, which is completely break out of that packaged self and do something completely different. The problem is Miley Cyrus is actually talented, and Katy Perry can sing a tune, and that's about it.
Right.
And so she also, so there's two things with her. One, and it's been discussed, I'm sure, ad nauseum by now, but the other night, a kid came out. He was 19 years old, and he didn't make it. They didn't send him to Hollywood, but he was really cute, and Katy Perry was smitten with him. And she's like, "Oh, let me give you a kiss." And he's like, "You know, I've never been kissed by a girl." And I mean, the dude's 19, so I don't know how true that is. And he's like, and I was really raised in a conservative home, like he's a Duggar or something. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I kind of want the kiss to be special the first time I kiss somebody. He goes, oh, she was like, okay, well, let me kiss you on the cheek. So she pulled the shitty move of when he went in to kiss, she kissed him on the cheek, and then he turned and she kissed him on the mouth.
What a bitch.
Right? And I'm like, and she was all like champion, like, yay, I did it. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That is so disrespectful. I don't care that he's 19 and that he's saying this whole I'm wholesome and I don't want to kiss anybody. If that's what he says, hello, isn't no means no? I mean, if Lionel Richie did that to a 19-year-old girl, he would have been fired.
Yeah.
Right? But she did it, and because she's a girl, apparently it's not a big deal, which I think is like literally bullshit. And I'm not into the Me Too thing and all that stuff. But, I mean, I'm not a big champion of it. But, I mean, seriously, if we're going to do that.
Right.
She has no business touching another human who just said no thank you.
So what did her, like, cohort say? Anything?
I don't watch the show, so I have no idea. But I just know. And obviously, this was filmed like a summer ago. Because they did this forever ago. You know, these are all filmed way in advance. So, I mean, it's long been done. The guy made a statement, like, today saying, you know, the media is misconstruing it. I wasn't mad. You know, it was what it was. You know, whatever. And of course, it was a small thing. But when it happened, all this movement wasn't happening. Mm-hmm. So now that it's come out and they showed the footage, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, Katy Perry? You know, it's like now people are either like, oh, it's no big deal. Don't be such a bitch. Or it's like, what a bitch. I think she's a bitch.
Yeah, that was not cool.
I would never do that. I would never do that.
Wrong. And, you know, you don't just get to take whatever you want. If I was that boy's mother, I'd go in there and bitch slap her.
I thought about that. I'm like, well, you know, if he comes from a conservative family and he came out and said, Katy Perry, she kissed me on the mouth when I said I didn't want to. And she'd be like, get me in there now.
Yeah, right. Since we're like, just taking what we want, I'm going to take a piece of your cheek, bitch.
No kidding. You know what? This all started because she was talking shit about Britney being mentally ill. And I've never gotten over it. And I love Britney Spears.
We love
Fuck you
Britney.
if you don't.
Yeah.
I love her.
We love Britney.
Yeah. Just leave her alone. Just leave Britney alone. But Katy Perry talking shit about her on more than one occasion in front of a microphone makes me go, you are a small-minded person. And I don't know how you're still famous.
It's hanging by a thread.
I would say, well, you know, she's doing American Idol, you know.
Yeah, but what is
Lionel
that
Richie
saying?
Right.
She's doing American Idol.
Lionel Richie does not need to do American Idol. He's doing it because he has nothing better to do right now. The man is ridiculously wealthy and successful.
It's like judging something at the county fair. It's just like...
Yeah, it's like, well, it's in my hometown. I have nothing better to do.
Right.
Okay, so I'm done bashing Katy Perry and The Voice. But really quick, you probably knew this, you know, Usher's getting divorced.
Oh, that's good news.
Yes, and they've only been together they've been married for 2 years. I believe they were together for almost 10, though. A couple of things came to my mind. One, did the herpes thing just finally just kill her and go, I can't do this anymore with you and the herp?
Well, I mean,
but 10 years is a long time.
Doesn't matter. She's got it now too, so
likely, which you would think would keep someone together. But this is a true case of marriage ruining a relationship. Like if you're together for almost a decade and then you get married and it just everything goes downhill. Don't you think that's like marriage truly does change things? That's like a perfect example of marriage changing things.
It must, but I mean, I can't imagine what it changes.
Anyone can tell you that if you've been with somebody and you're living together 5-6 years and you go, you know what, let's get hitched. And then they do, it does change things. There's something about it that changes. You can't maybe put your finger on it, but it does change a relationship. I remember the first time that Daryl and I, on our wedding night, the sex felt different.
Really?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was still, sex, but it felt different for some reason. And I don't know if it's because in your mind you're going, okay, we're consummating this legal marriage. I don't know if that's it, if I was overthinking it, but it definitely felt different. I was actually a little intimidated the first time we had sex as a husband and wife.
Weird.
Maybe I think it changes things, and maybe some women don't think that way. I mean, you didn't feel different after you guys got married?
I was so drunk. Oh, you mean like just in general?
Yeah, the general feeling of, we're not just living together anymore. Now we're like legit.
But in a good way. I mean,
yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Not 2 years later where we wanted to get divorced.
Right. Plus it's Usher, and he's adorable.
Usher. You're telling me.
Is he in your free pass list?
He's definitely in my top, I would say my top 5.
Top 5, really?
Yes.
You know what? I need to revisit my top 5 list. I don't really. I just gotta think about it.
That would be really
bit.
hard to narrow it down to just 5.
I know, right? I'm really struggling because there's other things like I'd like to try that once, but I don't necessarily put him in the top 5. Like regular. Like Bradley Cooper used to be up there. Now, not so much. I don't know. He's still super cute though. Really, really cute.
Leonardo DiCaprio will always be number 1.
Number 1, yes.
I can't ever see that changing.
I can't either. I can't see you doing that. He's a really shitty person from what I understand, but I would absolutely do Ben Affleck.
God, really?
It's because he's such a scumbag.
He is a scumbag.
He would be the one that show up at my house Friday at 2 a.m. and I'd be like, come on in, and then leave at 4. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
I guess I could see that, but
I would totally do it. I don't know why well, first of all, I think he's not an ugly person.
No,
he's cute.
He's cute.
And the only blonde that I've ever truly thought was sincerely attractive is Brad Pitt. And I know that's super commercial, like, oh, everybody thinks he's hot, but I genuinely think he's one of the most attractive men. I wouldn't put him in my top 5, but he's a good looking guy and the only blonde, truly blonde guy that I think is good looking.
He is good looking. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He is just a good looking man.
Yeah, he's really, really cute. So I don't know. You know what? We're gonna have to revisit this because I want to. Oh,
we should do homework and bring back like our top 10 or something. Or
let's do it.
5.
Okay. Noted for the next. Maybe in a couple weeks we'll discuss our top 5 to 10 free passes and why. Because
options.
You could. Yeah, options needs options. Options my Muppet. We'll have an Options the Muppet Show.
Options the Muppet Show.
We'll do that. That'll be great. Okay, now let's get to it. Producer Deb, you better not delete any of this discussion. I'll be so mad at you if you do. Some people like us to talk about bad reality television. Okay, so really quick, I'm just going to do a quickie because every once in a while I get a wild hair to Google the Duggars. I don't follow the show. I don't watch the kids show, the Counting On thing. I don't watch any of it really. There's been a little crack in the Duggar world.
Really?
And it's a little exciting. First of all, it is not the one that has the Spurgeon baby. The other one, that the one that's married to the sickly looking one.
Dillard?
Derek and the daughter
Jill.
Dillard. Yes, Jill and Derek Dillard. Derek has had enough of the Duggar thing. And it's not his wife that he's had enough of. It is the clutch that Jim Bob has over the Duggar brand. Apparently, now these have all been deleted, but there was he went on a Twitter rant about a week ago about how they are not paid to be on Counting On. They literally are being filmed for free, and they have been, and he's had enough. And one of the things was apparently their second child was born in a hospital, and it was like in the NICU, like it was like born a little premature, had some issues. And he asked TLC if, because they filmed the whole thing from birth, labor, all the way through the NICU. And he said, hey, maybe you can help. You filmed all of it. Maybe you can help us pay these ridiculously high medical bills. And they're like, oh, no. Now, it's not that they couldn't afford it, but they monetized off of it. And so he thought they should be paid to do that. And so people are just like, you're an accountant. How did you get into this and not have a contract that says you would be paid to do this? You're voluntarily filming. Anyway, so what it seems is that Jim Bob has full control, monetary control over anything that's Duggar, including this show. And so all the kids are getting filmed and Daddy gets the money. And my thought was, okay, so when this whole thing went out with Josh and, the molestation and the prostitute and porn star stuff, they probably just simply changed the title, but it was the same show. Maybe they had a contract or something. And so they just called it Counting On, and they solely film the adult kids only, and everything else is kind of shelved. They just kind of changed the theme of the 19 Kids and Counting show, but it's still under that contract. And so no one is getting paid but Jim Bob. So they have moved out of the Duggar house that he owns, and they have their own home now that he pays for himself. I assume that he's going back to accounting at some point, and he will be taking care of his own family on his own. And Jill, saying nothing. So,
well, what can she say?
So, and apparently he's no longer going to be filmed. Derek is not going to be filmed anymore, and hasn't been, from what I understand. So, I think there's some trouble in paradise. But it's like, come on, you guys are like in their late 20s now. It's time to stop letting Daddy run the place.
Right.
Oh, and that was the other thing he said. He said something about how kids shouldn't get married until they're 26, at least.
Oh, wow. Speaking of really young, flip over to Sister Wives. And
yes.
Janelle's daughter who got married, Maddie, who is like 19.
I think she's 20 now, but yeah, 20. She was super young when she married her man, Caleb.
They were just on the last episode of Sister Wives. She was giving birth to her first baby boy.
Yes.
They said that polygamists typically have home births, and they, with no drugs, no nothing. And
savages. Absolute savages.
I haven't seen the episode, but I saw enough screenshots to know that obviously it didn't go well. Or
it didn't go as planned.
It didn't go as planned. Or maybe it went exactly as planned for someone who was just giving birth without any kind of pain medication. I don't know.
Paula. Oh my God. There was so much bad. First of all, I believe that this is the last season of Sister Wives. From what I've read, they're not going to be doing this, that they might be switching gears and start filming Mariah, who is Mary's daughter, who came out as gay.
Oh.
They might be doing a show about her and her struggle with coming from an ultra conservative family, and now she's gay, and the issues that come from that. It would be an interesting spin. Because obviously none of the children want to be polygamous. So filming any of those kids would be an interesting spin.
Right.
Anyway, so yes, the polygamy really shows itself when things like a birth happens. Everybody sits around and stares at the mother. It's insane to me. I'm like, there are so many people in this bathroom watching her labor in the tub. And Caleb's just sitting there going, what kind of circus is this? Like, he is completely out of his element. This girl... And I know this can happen because I've seen two of our sisters do this. She stopped that labor twice because of the stress. She won't admit it, but that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Film crew, 3 of her quote-unquote moms watching her, all the siblings, all the teenage girls, the brother showed up. I mean, and then the dad was there. So She ultimately labored for 3 days. 3 solid days. 2 of those days, the labor stopped completely, and she ended up like going to work and just being normal because it's just too much stress. Mentally, it was just too much. And I've seen both of our sisters stop labor. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's going to happen. I mean, eventually the baby's going to come whether you try to stop it or not. But there is a time where you can make your body not do it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but I believe this. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Now, I when I was 20, I had Tyler, and it was a very long labor, but I also had a lot of pressure around me. I had our mom, and there was a lot going on, and it took a long time to get there. And I think when you're unsure and you're feeling pressure and people are like constantly on you, I think it prolongs things, and that's what happened. So this poor girl labored and labored and labored, and her plan was she wanted it to be her husband, and her midwife, and that's it. Mm-hmm. When she had that baby, Robin, Janelle, and Christine were all in the room. Her father was behind her, next to her husband, the midwife, and a handful of the kids were all in the room when she delivered that baby. It was like a fucking circus.
Jeez.
There was no discussion ever of taking this poor girl to the hospital. Like, never. And I'm sitting there watching this going, this girl needs an Ativan and an epidural. Stat.
Yeah.
Like, why are you putting yourself through this? And Caleb's like, why aren't we going to the hospital? Like, he was over it. He was over it. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, really? And he's older, but he should have been like, all right, that's enough. Everyone out. This is ridiculous.
Right.
Like, someone needed to do it, but no one did it. Not even the midwife. That was the issue that I took with it. I mean, ultimately, she had the baby. It was an 8-pound baby. Healthy, beautiful, wonderful. Everything was great. And, of course, because I am who I am, they didn't film. Because there's literally the last picture that they showed of Maddie. She's in the bathtub, and she looks up at the camera. She goes, no more filming. I'm done. And they finally backed out. But just listening to the baby be born, I started to cry.
Aww.
Even as much as I hated the situation of listening to this gaggle of people around this poor girl watching her labor, I don't know how she did it with her dad in the room. I don't know. It was really difficult to watch.
Especially when you're like barely 20 years old. Like,
she's a child.
You know, I know. She doesn't know.
God. We live till we're 100 now. She's a child at 20.
Right.
Okay, so we need to do our ugly and awkward moments of the week and wrap up the show. So let's do those.
Okay, so mine was quick. The dogs have these little squeaky toys they like to play with, and so Bo had brought me his, and I was sitting on the couch. So what we do is from the living room, you can see like our hallway to the front door. So I went to go throw it down the hallway, and so I threw it as hard as I could, and it didn't go down the hallway. It hit the coffee table, and it knocked over a full glass of coffee, and the coffee fell on the floor and broke the glass.
Jesus!
And spilled the coffee everywhere.
Oh,
and
my
so I'm
God.
just like, good God. I'm like, I was just trying to. So he kind of looks at me like, what is going on here? And
he's like,
so
I really just wanted you to throw the ball, Mom.
He's like, I didn't need this whole, fiasco. And I'm like, Bo, I'm gonna stay here. There's glass.
Yeah.
And so anyways, it was That's lame, funny. But
no, it's not lame. Well, you can't throw. We have T-Rex arms.
It's ridiculous.
If one of us was ever an athlete, it would be shocking because none of us can do anything. I mean, we're not uncoordinated people. We just don't have any strength. We're just like veal.
Well, I just threw it as hard as I could, but it just
you have no aim.
It just went straight down and hit the coffee. No, I have perfect aim. I hit a coffee cup.
That's true. You would have won a prize at the carnival.
Jeez.
That's great. Okay, well, interestingly, mine is about dogs and breaking something too. It's so weird how that happens, and we have not talked.
No.
So we had one day this last week, that was like 78 degrees. It was sunny and warm. You recall the one day before all the rain came this week. And so Daryl has been doing a lot of travel and work has been really stressful. And so he hasn't done any yard work, which he actually really likes to do. It's kind of his way of it's like when I do the dishes or cook, I kind of shut everything out. He does that with yard work, which I'm so grateful because there's nothing worse than yard work. Maybe going to the dentist. But other than that, I hate yard work so much. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go out because we had a lot of dog poop out there. Ew. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rake it all up into piles and then I'm going to just clean it up because it had been out there long enough that I could actually rake it up and put it into a pile. So I raked up 2 piles. And as I'm prone to do, I was listening to podcasts while I was doing the yard work. And it was in my pocket. And I was wearing a flannel shirt. So I bent over to, I don't even know what I was doing, but I bent over and my phone and my sunglasses both fell off my face and my phone fell out of my pocket and landed in the pile of dog shit.
Oh, man.
But the thing is that because I was raking it all into a pile, there were other things in there, like I don't know what, and it hit something hard and it cracked my phone.
Oh, my God.
So I picked it up. I'm like, God damn it. And I pick it up. And so not only is there dog shit all over the screen, there's a crack. And I was like, what? How? You know what? There was probably some teeny tiny pebble, something in the dog shit, and it just hit it perfectly and put a nice long crack in my phone. I was so annoyed. And the thing is of course, because I was in denial, I'm like, oh, that's just a hair or something. Like, that's not right. That's not a crack. And then it's obviously a crack. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you can't coordinate that twice. You can only do it once. So of course I had to sanitize everything, and then, now it's the dog shit phone, and I don't want it anymore. But I have to fix the screen.
Do you guys have upgrades or insurance?
No and no. And so, no, we don't have upgrades for a while. Everybody got upgraded last year, so, and they don't really do that anymore. Actually, they don't do that anymore. It's kind of different now. But anyway, so now I've got to go to that You Break We Fix store. Oh. And get the screen fixed for $100 or something stupid. Oh, I know. I don't know who wins. I think they're both lame.
I would say maybe you win because you cracked your phone.
Well, yeah, you broke a glass. Let's give each other 20 points and call it a day. I think we're done.
It's a tie.
It's a tie for dog and dog shit and glass.
Yeah.
How weird though. It's that happens to us. We both do similar ugly and awkward moments. It's very unusual.
Similar. Yes, that is true. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this Sunday. We will be back on Wednesday. Can't wait to see you then. Keep shopping Amazon and Avon. We look forward to your purchases. Have a fabulous week, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.